Hi, my name is Jonathan Hop. This is 10 Minute Go, and this is Go Lessons Done Quick. If you enjoy these lessons and consider supporting me, go down to the link below and just go ahead. I have lots of different great things for my Patreon patrons, including game reviews and special videos I'll be making just for you. All right, the clock starts now. All right, so we were talking about one space pincer standard sequences last time. We kind of left off with white jumping into the 3-3 point. Let's go back to where white, all of white's different options here. Now these are just some options I wanted to go over. There's more, right? This is Go, of course, so there's a ton of things we can do. But I want you to kind of get familiar with just some moves you can do because a lot of times we get in a game, we see a new shape, we don't know what to do. And this way we can kind of learn more shapes and so we can feel more comfortable. So we talked a little bit about last time what happens when white invades the 3-3 point. Alright, today we're going to talk a little bit more about what happens when white jumps and what happens when white counter pincers. Alright, let's talk about jumping first. This is the most natural move. This is the move I like the most because it is obvious. White jumps because white doesn't want to be sealed in on the right side, whereas black wants to seal white on the right side. In this case, if black does nothing, then white will turn here at the to cover black's Q16 stone. Now, this stone is not going to die. Black could, for example, live. But in doing so, white gets this really strong shape out on the outside. This is not really good for black. A lot of people will think, oh, well, I lived, so everything's okay. I didn't die. Well, sure, you can live, but then your stones don't do anything else but live. And that's, once you get to high level play, that's a really big no-no. So this is not good for black. So black will respond to white. Black's not going to respond to white on the other side. He's going to respond to white by reinforcing the Q16 stone. He can do that by playing a low knight's move or a high one-space jump. It depends on the rest of the board. It depends on what kind of stones you have around the A area. If you have a stone at A, I would pick the high move. So for example, if the game looked like this will be a very nice shape for black. If you didn't, however, if, like, for example, let's say white was really strong in the upper left corner of the board, and you're not going to make a lot of territory, then I would not pick that. I would pick the low knight's move, because this move directly takes territory, and so your stones will be very secure. The problem with the one space, the high one space, is that if white can pincer you, then white can threaten to kind of scoop out all the territory underneath. That makes these stones weak and baseless. If you defend yourself, then white is going to start sealing you in. And when your stones get sealed in, that's when you start losing the game. So we don't want that. So again, when you pick between the low or high, so we want to defend high or defend low, look at what's going on the other side of the board. If you have some helper stones, it helps you to build a territorial framework, like let's say you have a stone already here, then I say go ahead and defend high. That way you make a nice shape, and this stone's like a gatekeeper for the under part of your stones. If your opponent is really strong on the upper side, and you're not going to really make that much territory, just take territory and go on with your life. Alright, now that we've got that out the way, let's go back and look at what white does next. A lot of players will think, well, I jumped out and now I need to make a base. And this is not the correct way to think about it, because you are not really making that much of a base here. And besides, black would love nothing more than to take the 3-3 point. Now you're back at square one because you're pincered. This stone is getting in the way of you making a 2-eyed shape. So you don't have enough eye space. So you could probably come out, but then black will just simply defend himself, and now black develops at the top and black develops on the side, and you are still baseless and floating. There's not enough space here at the edge for 2 eyes. It's going to be kind of a struggle. So instead of this, basically the problem is this exchange. We played A, and then our opponent played B. You have to think past your first move, alright? This is Go, so you can't just think, oh, I get to play this, and then that's great. You have to think about what your opponent will do once your move is played. So in this case, black playing B is a lot gains for black more than what white gains from playing A. So just don't play anything here. Just leave it open, because later you might want to invade the 3-3 point. And you can actually live in here. Okay, so we're not going to do the cut or anything crazy like that for the moment, but right now white can make a living shape in the corner. So yeah, the outer stones get damaged, but maybe later in the game you don't care about these two stones. Give yourself that option later by leaving this open. This is not open. The 3-3 point is over with if your opponent plays there before you do. Alright. right, well then if the corner is not really someplace we want to go to, that means we have to go either out straight or down. If we continue going straight, then black will just put more pressure on us, all right? We'll reinforce his stones, and then we still don't have a base. So just going straight out is not that great. We're going to have to do something with this stone. All right, well, we're going to place something here. Should we just jump? He doesn't put any pressure on black. He's just going to defend, and we're still baseless. That doesn't really work. What if we attach? Well, when we attach to our opponent's stones, we're not just going to be like, okay, I'll just play elsewhere and let you Hane me. That's fine. They're not going to do that. He'll either extend, which might be okay in some cases, but in this case, it looks like you're having a hard time. Remember, you can't really cut here because you die. So there's no cut at that point, so black can just Hane here, and then black can continue to start to make fourth line territory. No, that's not a really good thing to be doing. So since touching is not that great, unless in special circumstances, you will see games where white will play here. I've seen some. But for the most part, you're going to play this shoulder hit. The shoulder hit, like pretty much every other move you've seen in the standard sequence, has a threat. If black plays elsewhere, this stone does not have anywhere to go. You can't capture anything on the outside. It's dead. Okay, all those stones are dead. So don't think that there's anything you can do with them. So since that is what's going to happen, black doesn't want that. Black needs to get out, but first he's going to make a little bit of a weak point. White has 2 one-space jumps that are open, and he has not defended them. White would love nothing more than to have a move like this so that he can defend both of his one-space jumps, but he won't get that. Now we turn. All right, turn is extremely important. We don't want white to get this move. We push again. Please don't jump. Jumping leaves very, very bad. Oops, excuse me. Counter Atari. And then this is terrible. You're dead. So please don't jump yet. Push once more till we have 3 stones and then jump. Alright, that way that this counter pincer, okay, this counter Atari thing doesn't work because you have enough liberties to just capture the cutting stones. Sometimes you'll play this. Sometimes you'll play this. But for right now, this is perfectly fine. If white plays the pincer, you can just kind of come out, alright? Don't worry too much about this variation just yet. This standard sequence gets to be pretty rough. Then white will usually jump here, and then you have your choice of jumping here or simply defending. Jumping here is fine. Both are okay. It depends how strong white is in the lower right. If there are a lot of white stones here and white's really got 2 eyes and really strong, play here. If he doesn't, you can get away with jumping. Just realize that there is this problem here. Right now, it's not really that big of a deal because you can Hane him. But later, if you might not be able to do that, so just be aware. If you want a more solid move, just play this because then there's nothing here. You just kill any cutting stone and that's it. Your shape is pretty good. Also know that later, if white doesn't play this, black has some fun stuff to do by wedging here. Alright, so that way we can cut this stone off from the rest of it and we might get a pretty huge corner. Alright, so these are kind of some of the things you need to be thinking about. This is the end result, and if you're white, I would recommend personally, if you're a double-digit Q, to just defend here and go about your business. Now, why is the standard sequence? Black got some territory here, white got a nice wall towards the outside, and then this corner is still open. Later on in the game, white can easily invade the 3 point and live, alright? This 3 point invasion does not die. Alright, so that way that is something you can do later on. So this is kind of what we could expect. So here, we go all the way back. That means that this one space jump, if you jump here, you're planning on pressing down on this black stone later. Alright, that's what you're planning on doing. If you invade a 3 point, you're basically saying black's going to make a wall on the outside and you'll take territory either this way. If black plays here, you'll take territory this way. Or if black cuts, you'll take territory this way. Alright, that was pretty flexible for white. This one is pretty simple. If you counter pincer, black will do what he threatened to do in the first place. Hane once, attach, and play here. I've also seen some where you just directly go into the 3 point and then come back. This is a trade. White will get the top, black will get the side, and then both players will basically move on from here and play somewhere else. Alright, take these standard sequences to heart. There's lots of more variations to study. I know all that, but I gave you the most basic ones I think you can use in your games starting right now. Alright, our time's up, and that's all we have for today. I'll see you guys next time.